So it is definitely time for a new battle report. Let's do it. We'll look at our rebels first. 798 points worth, led by our Han Solo as our general, and Chewbacca is going along for the ride as well. We also have 2 units of Wookiee warriors. Those are naked, only with recon intelligence. We've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 units of just regular troopers. This one has a rebel officer with it, and this one down here has a medical droid, and most of them have Z6s with them. We have some rebel commandos over here with a sniper, and we've got our land speeder here with a long range comm link all the way out there with Wedge Antilles is going to be driving it. And looking at the Separatists over there, see if I can get you a good look over here. We got the Maul, who is our operative, and we've got Grievous over there, who is the commander. 2 droidicas, one's naked, one's got long range comm link, and we've got our 6 squads of B1s. 2 of those squads have that E trooper in there for those 3 black dice. The rest are naked. And Maul is running his usual force choke and saber throw, duck and cover, and I think he's running something else. I have to go look at the card. And Grievous does have his Annihilator pistol with him. And there you go. That's your battle for tonight. We're going to be playing Battle Lines. Limited visibility and key positions. So limited vis just means round 1, no attacks beyond range 2. Round 3, within range 3. After that, anything goes. And of course, key position, I set up objective tokens here on the battlefield, the major terrain pieces, with this great AT terrain piece from Etsy. I will put the seller's link in the description. Great terrain piece. Anyways, so the tokens are on those major parts, plus the snow speeders back there. And towards the end of the game, they're all worth a point if you have more unit leaders in base-to-base contact with it than your opponent. And that's it, guys. Let's kick this thing off. Go right to the command phase. So round 1, Rebels came out a little aggressive with push, and Separatists counter with standing orders. So command phase for the Separatists. Grievous went ahead and gave his order to Squad 5, and of course it just daisy-chained right on down here, all within range 1 of each other. And over for the Rebels, they had 2 units to give it to. They gave it to these Rebel troopers over here. And then, of course, they gave it to the land speeder way over here with the long-range comm link. That's it. Let's do it. So, first activation of the game, Rebels Squad 3 went ahead and gave themselves a move from here to there and gave themselves a standby token. Separatists will go ahead and activate the droidicas here on the left flank. They do have the left long-range comm link, and that's all they have. So droidicas move up with the double move action, putting them right there, but they are in range 2 of those troopers right there. They do have a standby token. They'll take a shot right now. Oh, not so great. Only a hit and a crit, and of course they went ahead and blocked one of those. So the shield will take care of the other one, and flip one of these over, and that is their attack there. End of their activation. Rebels activate one of their squads of Wookiee warriors, squad number 9, and they'll move up the field here. So very aggressive on the Rebels' part, doing a double move action to put the Wookiees right up there. So Maul activated next. Double move action puts him from here all the way up to there, and facing down those Wookiees. So Han Solo activated next, did a move action to that point there, and took a shot at the Maul over there. Just had enough range to do it, and didn't roll so great. He got a hit and a crit. Now his sharpshooter did take down the cover there, down to cover 1, but Maul did block it, so the suppression goes down on Maul, and that will end Han Solo's activation. Separatists, go ahead and move the droidicas, double move action from down here up to there, and it will end their activation. Rebels activate next. Wookiees will do, other squad will do a double move action, putting them up to there, that terrain piece, and getting close to those B1s. So Separatists activated their probe droids next. They did a move action, putting them there, and then they dropped some observation tokens down on those Wookiees just over there. Rebels activated their commandos next. Now they were already here. They went and gave them an aim token, and they went ahead and rolled an attack. They were just in range 2 of those droidicas, and man, they did really awesome. That's what they got. During the applied dodge cover step, they flipped all 4 of these shield tokens, taking off these 4 hits here. So these 2 actually went through. They rolled. They blocked both of them, and that's kind of how it ended up right now. So great volley by these guys in bleeding out all their shield tokens in the first round. So Grievous activates next for the Separatists, having no fear. A double move action puts him right to there and almost in Han Solo's face. So double move action puts our Rebels Squad 1 right there behind that barricade, staring down those droidicas. So Separatists had B1 Squad 1 activate. They went ahead and did a move action, put them there, just in range 2 of those Rebel troopers over there. They fired what they could. They only scored 2 hits. Rebels blocked 1 of them, and just suppression. So Landspeeder went next, did his compulsory move action, put him there, just in range 2. Took a big shot with Arsenal 3. Did score 1, 2, 3, 4 hits and a crit. Droidicas blocked 3 of them, so only 2 wounds went through in the Droidicas. So Squad 2 B1s, they did a move action moving up to here, and they did have the range 2 to get to those Wookiees, and they spent all those observation tokens on those rerolls, and after all that, all they managed to score was 3 hits. Of course, the cover 2 blocks 2 of them, and Wookiees rolled 1 defensive dice, they whiffed, taking on a wound, and suppression. That's how that ended. So Rebel Squad 4 activated next, seeing opportunity with those shields being down. A move action put them right there. They were just in range 2, took the shot. They scored. Let's go to the dice tray for a second. They scored. What was it? Yeah, it was 3 total hits. They blocked 2. 1 wound goes through, killing this one here. And that will end the activation. So B1's Squad 3 activated next for the Separatists. They do like where they are. They're not actually going to move up. They don't like the Wookiees being on top of them. They're going to stay right here. They could consider a dodge token, I suppose, or a standby, but what's the point? I mean, everybody else is too far away in range 1 for it to matter. Round 1 to matter. For the Rebels, Chewbacca activated next. Double move action plus his free climber, putting him right up there. So B1's Squad 6 for the Separatists activate next. They're not liking what's coming up here, so they don't want to get melee combat with Wookiees. They're going to sit back here and wait. So Squad 2 activated next. They double move action to back up Squad number 4, ending their activation. So B1 Squad 4 did a slight move action up here behind this barricade and had just enough range 2 to get to those Wookiees over there. They took a blind shot with just 6 white dice, and they scored 2 crits, so that kind of negated the cover there. And then the Wookiees blocked 1 of them, so they're going to take a wound and suppression. So Rebels are out of activations, and Separatists activated Squad 5 B1s, their last unit on the board to activate, and they did a move action, putting them to there, and they did take a shot at those Wookiees over there, just in range 2. After all, these guys had so much luck with 2 crits. Hey, why not, right? These guys, not so much. They whiffed completely, nothing. So not even a suppression goes down the Wookiees. So end of round 1, about to start the cleanup phase here, and I would say some big surprises here. Obviously, Squad 4, putting a wound on them with those 2 crits is pretty impressive. And also over here, working together, these 3 units, taking out that droidica, taking advantage of those shield tokens, just being totally down on that, was a big blow to the Separatists. And everything else seems to be moving here. The Wookiees are forming a charge here in the center. Droid's a little bit hesitant about moving up the field. And that's where we stand. Start round 2. Rebels play change of plans. Separatists at last. Could have definitely forced this one back into their hand, but no. He likes having the 2 units to give orders to. So, and Maul's already in a pretty precarious position anyways. They're going to leave it. So, who did they give it to? Let's see. Han Solo obviously got the order. He also gave it to Squad number 4 because they got a shot at Grievous and that droidica over there, and also his commandos, hoping they can get concentrate their firepower and knock that droidica right out of there. Separatists obviously gave it to Maul right in the center of the action here, and we will get started. So Separatists did activate Maul, and what happened was he did attack the Wookiees over there. He did a saber throw, scoring 2 crits on his roll with the reroll with the aim token he gave himself. He had a free aim from the card. They blocked one of them. There was no cover because they're both in base-to-base contact with the terrain piece. So wound went through. Then he force choked again for a free action, and that put 3 wounds, removing this Wookiee over here. Is now gone. And then he gets a free dodge token because of his up close and personal card, and then he gives up another dodge for a second action, and that will conclude his activation. So the Rebels countered by activating Rebel Squad, Trooper Squad 4. They were over here. They did an attack action on the Grievous. Didn't do so great. They only got a hit and a crit for all those dice. Grievous blocked both of them, but does pick up a suppression. And then they moved right over to there, and that will end their activation. Separatists counter with B1 Squad 1. They took a shot at those Rebel Troopers over there. Had them with no cover there. So they did score, it was 2 hits on them, and they blocked 1, so took a wound and a suppression. And second action was giving themselves just a name token. So Wookiee Squad 9 did a charge action and gives us an aim token first in the charge. They did score 4 total hits by using that aim token for a reroll. Maul spent 1 dodge to cancel one of those hits. Then he also spent the other dodge to get deflect. Didn't really need it. He rolled 3 shields, blocking all 3. So nothing will happen to them all, and the Wookiees are spent. Droideka on the right flank will activate. So what happened was he has to attack first for his protocol. So he chose to attack the rebels over there, who were in range 3. Did score a wound on them. He got 2 hits. They had no cover because of the line of sight. 2 suppression dropped. His second action was to give himself a dodge token, and that's kind of where he'll end it. So Chewbacca activated next, going total Rambo over here. He was up here. He moved his free climber down, put him into base-to-base contact with Maul. He took a melee attack against him, scored. Wow, because Surge crits for him. 2 crits and 2 hits. Maul blocked 2. Maul had no more dodge tokens for deflect, so Maul will take 2 wounds on that. That's how we'll end it. So Droideka's in the left flank activated. They have to do an attack first because they're protocol. They did score 2 wounds and drop 2 suppression on these Squad 1 Rebel Troopers. I think they had rolled, just check the box real quick. Yeah, they had rolled pretty well. A hit and then 2 crits. The hit was blocked by the cover. They didn't block anything, so yeah, that was that. And that second thing was just to do a quick pivot to give them a better line of sight at the field here, and that will end their activation. So Rebels did activate Squad 3. They moved up a little tiny bit to get in base-to-base with that terrain piece. They did take a firing over here at the Droidekas. They did score a hit and a crit. Unfortunately, both those were blocked by the shield tokens. So that will end their activation. Separatists activated the Sith probe droids. They dropped 3 observation tokens down those Wookiees over there and moved, putting them more to the center of the field to hopefully drop some more observation tokens next round on other Rebel units. So our Wookiees activated next. They were right up here. They did a double move action, and of course they have charge, so they got a free, once they were base to base, got a free attack action against the B1s. They didn't roll so well. They only rolled actually 1. I'm sorry, was it 2 hits? Yeah, 2 hits total. B1s blocked 1 of it, believe it or not. So 1 wound went through on these guys, and that will end their activation. So we're looking at full World War I mode here. So B1 Squad 3, they were over here. Their leader was right over here. They did a double move action to put them in base-to-base with the Wookiees. They have no attacks left. It took 2 moves to get there, but that's what they're going to do. They couldn't use their AI protocol because they couldn't launch a range attack. They were already engaged immediately with Squad 2. So we've got a huge pile-up brouhaha here in the middle of the field. Rebel Trooper Squad 2 activated next, and they are suppressed, so their rallying step, they did manage to remove 1 of the suppressions, but 1 stays. And they did decide that 1 action to take a shot at Grievous over here. They did, and man, they came through. Look at that. 4 hits without any rerolls. Grievous blocks 3 of them. He takes a wound and a suppression, and that will end their activation. So the Grievous activated next. Now remember, he was over here. He did a move action, And when he moves, he has Relentless, gets a free attack action, his Annihilator Pistol. He took a shot over here. He wasn't able to kill off one of those troopers. Then he moved again into base to base with these guys and got another free attack action, but it's melee this time. And you can see what he rolled over here, 5. They blocked none because he had Pierce, I think he had Pierce 2 on that. So, yeah. So we have 5 guys dead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the medical droid is non-combatant, so he doesn't really, he just goes automatically. And that is, yeah, he wiped these guys out. So let's get these guys off the table. And the Grievous has completely destroyed that whole unit. Rebel Commando is activated next. They took a shot at the Grievous. He will not get cover because they're both in base-to-base contact with it. Yeah. Did a good job with their aim token and reroll. They got 1, 2, 3, 4 crits and a hit. Grievous did block. They had Pierce 1, but Grievous got extra defense dice for that. So he did get 3 blocks on that. So he took his 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it should be 2 wounds on the Grievous. He had 1 already. So we'll put additional wound on him. Suppression, and that will end their activation. I forgot to mention, yeah, Grievous did have some suppression on him already when they fired at him, but as you can see, the commandos have sharpshooter, so it kind of negated it out. That's why I didn't mention it earlier. But I just wanted to make a note of this so you guys can be aware of that. So B1 Squad 5 activated next. Decided to take a range 3 attack at the Han Solo out there, who's just sitting there. They scored 2 crits on him, which wasn't bad. We're 6 white dice, but with his rerolls, he blocked it. So suppression goes down on the Solo. It's this, and then he gives us a dodge token, ending their activation. Rebels activated Trooper Squad 1. They were right here. They don't like where they're at. They only have 2 guys left. Double move action puts them right there. Their rally step did remove 2 of those suppressions they originally had, and he has a courage value of 2, so they will get the 2 actions and hopefully move them out of potentially harm's way. So B1's Squad 2 B1's activated. They're already melee combat with these Wookiees. They did their best melee attack they could. They scored, believe it or not, a hit and a crit. The Wookiees did not block either one. They'll take 2 wounds, and so the B1's, they landed one in the chin, man, of the big guys. So the dodge token was their second action. That 3rd wound, we had 1 already over there. But these 2 new wounds, one of these guys dies, and yep, you are dead. The B1s have actually, in hand-to-hand combat, killed a Wookiee. Who would have thought, right? So Land Speeder activates next for the Rebels. This compulsory move, putting it right to here. Open fire on the Droideka, and you can see, man, even he gives up an aim token first, but even the reroll didn't do anything. But look what he got. I mean, it was ridiculous. He got 4 hits and 2 crits. Now, the Droideka did have a shield token. That and the dodge was spent to negate 2 of these hits. They're gone. Rolled defense, totally whiffed. This guy is now dead. So B1 Squad 4 activated next. They took a shot at Han Solo over there. They completely whiffed. Absolutely nothing. So not even suppression going down. And a dodge token for their second action. So Han Solo activated for the Rebels. He did a move action and put him in range 2 of both the Grievous and those droids over there. The shot on the Grievous went very well. He put 2 wounds on him, bringing his total down to 5. He got a hit and a crit, and Grievous did roll some extra defense dice for he's impervious to Pierce and all that, but he blocked 2, but Pierce 2 cancels that, so yeah. So 2 wounds in the Grievous, and over here, Han only got, what did he get on that? It was 1 hit went through. They had a dodge token, they just spent it, and so no wounds on the B1s over there. And that's how Mr. Solo will end his activation. So last activation on the Separatist side was the B1 Squad 6. They were down here. They took a shot at Solo over there. They completely whiffed. Wow, like nothing. Not even suppression laid down on them. Second action was they were to move up to there, and that's how they ended it. So we are now approaching the cleanup phase in round 2. The state of the board right now as it sits right now. The center, initially the Wookiees made a nice push in there, but the B1s are holding their ground. The center looks like it's going to hold for them. On the right flank, the droideka was wiped out, and Grievous is in big trouble wound-wise. On the left flank, these droidekas have actually done a pretty good job of holding up, and they've actually driven back that group of troopers, and this trooper, they'll probably vacate as well. So that is the state of the board right now, and on to round 3. So round 3, Separatists train Jedi arts, and Rebels, sorry about the mess. Grievous would have loved to have activated first, considering his position over there, but not to be. Rebels will get the first activation. And with that, Han Solo got an order, and Grievous also got an order. So Han the Man activates first for the Rebels. He was here. From this point here, he did his gunslinger. He attacked that group over there, and also that group right over there. And he did score on the first one. He got didn't roll so well. He only got 1 hit on them, but they whiffed, so 1 went down with suppression. On the second attack, he did a little bit better. He scored a hit and a crit, and they whiffed. He took out 2 B1s over here, laid out some suppression on them as well. Now the dodge and the aim were free from the card. Then his last action was to move from here to there, so that's where he'll end up. So the Grievous activated, he was right here in base-to-base contact. He used his scale and a double move to put him right into here. And of course, he's relentless. After move action, he gets his free attack action. And boy, he didn't waste any time with this. He scored 2 crits and 3 hits. He had Pierce 2, which killed off one of their blocks. And this group of commandos are bye-bye. At the end of the activation, Grievous did go ahead and do his suppressive, this attack on land speeder at range 1. He did score 2 crits and a hit, but it's got cover 1, so it took care of the 1 hit, and it blocked both the crits, so nothing happens there. And that will end Grievous's activation. And by the way, he got that dodge token from the card. Chewbacca activated next for the Rebels. Now he had this dodge and this aim from sharing teamwork with Han Solo. He went ahead and attacked the Maul, and his first action scored 3 hits and a crit. The Maul blocked 1 of them. So Maul takes 3 wounds, and then Chewbacca gave himself a dodge token. That will end his activation. So Separatists activated Squad 2 B1s in melee combat with the Wookiees there. They did their best punches, and you're not going to believe this, but they actually scored a crit and a hit, and the Wookiees completely whiffed. So they scored 2 wounds on these Wookiees. Rebels Squad 1 troopers activated. They were about over to here. The move action puts them there behind better cover and also securing that objective, and that will end their activation. So Maul activated next for the Separatists. Now he was in base-to-base contact over here. He had to use 2 move actions to disengage, putting him right to there. Now because he has the Yo-Yo Mastery, he's wounded. He gets another action. He chose a saber throw. The Wookiees. He did get a wound on them and a suppression, and that's the end of his activation. So the Wookiees activated next. They were right here. They're like, Maul, you're not getting away from that easy. Did a charge, got a free attack on that, and you'd think it'd be enough to kill Maul, only need 1 more wound to do it. Unfortunately, they only rolled 1 hit. Maul was able to block it, so it looks like the Maul will be saved. Well, we're not quite done yet, because that was a free attack. They can do the other attack, their other action, as an attack melee on the Maul again, so I don't think Maul survived this thing twice. As we thought, Maul's luck ran out. The Wookiees did score 2 hits and a crit. Maul did burrow 1 shield. He doesn't surge to block, so he is effectively dead. Squad 4 B1s activated next. Gives of a dodge, and they also took a shot at the Wookiees. With all their white dice, they just score a hit and a crit. Wookiees blocked 1 of them, so 1 wound goes through, and a suppression. So Trooper Squad 2 will activate next. They gave themselves an aim token and took a shot at Grievous. Grievous spent his dodge to get Surge to block. So they didn't do bad. They actually rolled 2 hits and 2 crits. The 2 hits bounced off the cover, obviously. The 2 crits, Grievous blocked 1 of them, didn't surge on the other one, so he will take a wound. and a suppression, and he's only got 1 wound left for the game. So Droidekas went next for Separatists from their original spot right about here. They fired at those troopers over there. They did score, I think it was 3 hits and a crit. And let me see here real quick. They got, it was 3 hits and a crit. We did give them cover 2 on that. So that took away 2 of the hits, a crit and a hit, and then of course they only blocked 1 of them. So 1 wound did go through on squad 3, and then suppression on them. Then they moved with their last action, and that will finish them up. So Wookiees here in the trenches activate next. They go after the squad 3 and immediately attack. They're base to base with them. They scored 2 hits and a crit. The B1s originally had a block, but the Wookiees had given themselves an aim token to get duelist trigger, which gives them Pierce 1. I took care of that. And so it's going to be 3 wounds on the B1s. Rebel Squad 3 activated. They were over here behind this barricade, but double move action puts them over here so you can cover behind this terrain piece. So Sith probe droids activated next. They were down here. They did a observe, dropping 3 observe tokens on the Wookiees. Then they went up and moved up here to get a better mix of things there in their activation. So Land Speeder activated next. A lot to cover here. So it was over here. Propulsion move put it there. Now while it was facing the other way, it took a shot at those B1s over there. Even with the cover 2, it did score a wound, the suppression on them. Then Wedge did his pivot like this, which is a free action. And can't attack again, so they will do a recover action. So they will have that pivot available to them next turn, and that will end their activation. So B1s, squad 6 here, they failed the rally steps, so they're still stuck there. Only 1 action available to them. They're going to attack. They throw their measly white dice. They did score. Oh gosh, what did they get? They did score a crit off of all those, and the Wookiees did not block it, so that was a wound, and they already had 2 wounds there, so the extra wound killed the other Wookiee that was behind him, leaving this guy behind right here. So that's where we stand. Rebels are out of activation, so back to the Separatist. Squad 5 will activate. They were able to rally off that other suppression, giving them 1 action. They attacked that Wookiee there. They completely whiffed, not even suppression laid down on them, and that's how they will end their activation. Separatist squad 1 of B1s activated. They were over here. Double move action puts them back over here. They're kind of pulling back to help shore up this middle here. Last activation for the round for the Separatists was squad 3 B1s. They have to attack, so they threw their best punches at those Wookiees. They whiffed completely, nothing, and they could get themselves a dodge, I suppose, but that's the end of the round, so we'll just let us sit at that. So we're going to start the cleanup phase here for round 3 in a second. State of the board right now. Droidekas did help push the Rebels back over here on the left flank. The middle is just a big mess of trench fighting here. The Wookiees are just wailing away these B1s. Over here, our land speeder broke off its hope. It was going to do a big attack next round on all these guys over here, but Wedge did a pivot at the end to try to get over here. He's going to try to take out the Grievous next round. And of course we have a few scattered groups of troopers still out there, and Han Solo and Chewbacca right here in the middle of it. Round 4, Rebels, Notorious Scoundrels, and Separatist Supreme Commander. 2 troopers will not work for Grievous. He's all the way out there, far out of range to have anybody else give orders to but himself. And of course, orders were given out to Chewbacca and to Han Solo on the Rebel side. And let's get to activation phase. Separatists get first activation. Grievous, he was over here. He did a move action, and he is relentless. He gets a free attack action after move action. He took it, fires now that these 2 guys scored a hit and a crit. They whiffed on their defense, so 2 were killed. And he only had, like I said, we rallied. He didn't pull these off, so he is suppressed. Only got that 1 activation is all he had, and that's his turn. Rebel Trooper Squad 3 activated next. They took a shot at these droidekas over here. They did score a hit, but unfortunately it was blocked by the shields, and that ends their activation, and they'll also give themselves a dodge token. So Separatist Sith probe droids activate next, drop 3 use an action to drop 3 observation tokens on the Wookiees, and then 3 observation tokens on the Squad 3 troopers over there, and that will definitely end their activation. So Wookiees activated. They're immediately combat with 2 squads of B1 droids. They went ahead and attacked Squad 3. They did score 2 hits, and the B1s whiffed. So 2 wounds went through, killing 2 of them, leaving just 1 left in that squad. And that will, it gives us a dodge token, and that will end their activation. So B1s activate. Squad 4, they went ahead and attacked the Wookiee right here. Took a shot. They did score 2 crits on those white dice. The Wookiee whiffed on his defense. So 2 wounds went through, a suppression. And their second action was just to give themselves a dodge. So Wookiee Warrior is activated next. He was over here. He charged into him. He gave himself an aim token, and of course got a free attack with immediately the charge. As you can see, he completely whiffed, so there's just nothing more happening there. And that will end his activation. So our B1 Squad 5 activated next. They were over here. As you'll recall, they did attack first with their AI attack on the Chewbacca, and they completely whiffed, as you can see right there. Second action was to do a move action to put them in better cover. So up next was the Land Speeder, which was over here, did a compulsory move, putting it over there, and it did take its shot at Grievous. Grievous almost survived it. They rolled 3 hits. He blocked 2 of them, but he only needed 1 for the kill. He only has 8 total health, 6. That'll do it. Grievous is dead. Sorry, I almost goofed that up. The pivot should be here, because they were up there, they attacked them. Compulsory move to here, facing this way. They attacked, they killed him. Second move would be the pivot right there, so we're good now. So the hard punching B1 Squad 2 activates. They're going to take another punch at the Wookiees there. They did get a hit in the crit, but the Wookiees had a dodge token, I think. And they spent that to negate the hit. And then, of course, the crit went through, but they did not block it. And that was the 3rd wound on that. This guy will be dead back here. And second action was to give themselves a dodge token. So the Rebel officer, his lone Z6 there in Squad 1, they were over here, hunkered down, and they moved back, double moved to here, just because there's only 2 of them left, and the droidicas are coming down the pike. So droidicas activated next. They had to attack first, which they did. They were back here. The move came on their second action. They attacked. They did score, I think it was 1, 2... between the cover and the dodge, there were 4 hits that went through because there's observation tokens on these guys. So with the rerolls, they did score 4 hits. The cover took away 2. The dodge took away another 1, and they scored 1 wound on these guys and laid down 2 suppression. Sorry, it's suppressive firepower. So I'll fix that, and that's their activation. And then they inched their way up with their second activation, moving a little closer. Up next was Squad 2. They did fail their rally, so they only had 1 action to do. They decided to take a long shot with this right here. Of all those dice, they only scored 1 critical, so that was enough to break through at least the cover. The droids didn't block it, so the droids lost a guy, and suppression was laid down. Up next was B1 Squad 6. They're in melee combat with this Wookiee over here. They threw 4 punches. They landed 1 with a hit. Unfortunately, the Wookiee did not block it, taking his 3rd wound. He is now dead. And with their second action, they'll just give themselves a dodge token. So Han Solo activated next. He first went after these guys here with sharps. He gives up an aim token first. Took a shot at these guys. Had to use the aim token here for the rerolls, but he did score a wound on them and a suppression. Over here, he attacked these folks down here. Same thing, he got a crit and a hit, so the hit was bounced off of the barricade, obviously. Crit went through. Wouldn't matter what they rolled. He has Pierce 2, so a trooper here was killed, and suppression was laid down. So droids, B1 Squad 1 activated next. They took a shot at Chewbacca, and with all those dice, you would have figured they would have scored, some decent hits there, but they only scored 1 crit, and Chewbacca whiffed on his defense there. So he will take a wound and a suppression, and they'll also take a dodge token for their second action. So Chewbacca activates next. He was right over here. He did a move action, base-to-base contact. The second action was the melee attack. He went with his melee attack. He scored 3 hits and a crit on these poor droids here. They, as you can see, completely whiffed on their defense. So this group here is completely wiped out, ending Chewbacca's activation. So last guy up for the Separatists is what's left of Squad 3 B1s. One last little B1 droid going toe-to-toe with this Wookiee. Let's see what happens here. No surprise here. He whiffed completely, so I think he gave some dodge token. So we are in the cleanup phase, right before the cleanup phase in round 4. On the left flank over here, the droidekas are moving their way up, have pushed the rebels back pretty far. The B1s are hanging in there against these Wookiees. It's going to come down to, I guess, round 15 on these guys. The droids still have some guys here. Han Solo and Chewbacca doing the heavy lifting from here on out. And we've got on the right flank, you've got your land speeder ready to come back in, hopefully, and swoop through here and take some of the pressure off of Han and Chewie. Start of round 5. Rebels going with sorry about the mess again because the previous card allowed them to return this from the discard back to their hand. We're going to play it now from previous round, and standing orders for the B1s is all they have left. Speaking of which, our new commander is Squad 1 here, and orders are given out to Han Solo on that side, and the B1s, of course, give it themselves, which chained range 1, and we are ready to start this thing. Oh, I forgot to mention that the card does give Han Solo a dodge and aim, and of course, Chewbacca being in range, he also gets what Han Solo gets. Rebels go first. They were hoping to get the land speeder or the trooper, but they got the Wookiees instead, and they're going to go. They activated, so he took an aim token to get Pierce. Then he went ahead and attacked. He only scored 1 crit on that attack, but they whiffed on their defense. So 1 wound on the B1 Squad 2, down to 5 B1s there, and that will end his activation. Droideka is activated next, going back to the stack here. So they were back here originally. They took a shot. They totally whiffed on their attack. Well, they didn't whiff. They scored a hit, which bounced off the cover there. The 2 crits went through, but the Rebels did block both crits. However, they dropped 2 suppression down on them, and then they did a little move, inching closer, and that's how they'll end their activation. So Trooper Squad 3 activated next day. They were successful in their rally step of removing 1 suppression. At the time, they were over here using Han Solo's courage value, which meant they weren't panicked, but they are suppressed. So they only got 1 action to do, which was a move over to here, because these guys are bearing down pretty hard, and that will end their activation. Separatists activated what's left of the Squad 5 B1s. There's only 3 of them. They took a shot at the Chewbacca over there. They whiffed completely, and they took a dodge token for their second action. So our land speeder activated next, and if I recall, he was over here. Compulsory move puts him to here. He himself an aim token, and then launched the attack on those B1s. There was 3 there originally. I already pulled 1 off. So the roll went really well. With the re-roll, he was able to score 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. No cover given. They had a dodge token. They spent that, so 3 hits go through, and they whiffed on their defense. So all 3 plus these remaining 2 will be destroyed. And that will end his activation. So Sith probe droids activate next. They drop down action number 1, dropping 3 observation tokens on Chewbacca, then action 2, 3 more on Han Solo, and they're done. So Chewbacca activates. He went ahead and used his aim token to take a shot at these Sith probe droids. He did score 1, 2, 3 hits with the reroll. They blocked 1. He had Pierce, which took care of they actually blocked 2. He had Pierce 1, which negated that 1 block. So 2 wounds went through. He killed 2 of them. Not sure if that was the best move he could have made, but he wants to get rid of it. So Squad 1's going to finally open up here. Now I did give Chewbacca also in the second action got a dodge token, I forgot to mention. He's going to be opening up on Chewbacca. So they have a face-up order token, so they could do other things. They'll give themselves an aim first, then they'll fire. So going over to the box real quick. So what they rolled completely was the 4 hits and the crit, all those re-rolls they had. Chewbacca had 2 dodges, which negated these 2 here. He had rolled a block. That took care of this one. So 2 went through. 2 wounds go through on Chewbacca. And he's at 3 wounds now, plus a suppression coming his way. So Rebels activate Squad 1. Troopers, they're not going to do anything. They're going to sit tight because they don't want to move and be in range of those B1s firing at them, range 3. And yeah, so they're going to sit tight. Dodge token, and maybe a standby. So B1 Squad 4 activate. They put a wound on Chewbacca in suppression. They rolled all their 5 white dice, got a hit. He whiffed on his defense, and that's where we stand right there. Gives up the dodge token for their second action. Rebels Squad 2 did the same thing. They just hunker down here and just take a dodge token. So B1 Squad 2 activate. They do the best they can to punch their way on this Wookiee. They did score a 1 hit on him. He whiffed on the defense, so a wound will go on him, and it's just dogpile on the Wookiee. Oh, I forgot to mention, they did give themselves an aim token first, but even with all that, just got 1 hit. So that's the end of their activation. So it's Han Solo time. He did move from here to here. He will make an attack on these guys. They'll get into cover because of where he is in line of sight. He hits 2 hits. They whiffed on their defense roll. It wouldn't matter anyway. It's Pierce 2. He will take 2 of these guys out. Lay down some suppression. Almost forgot, they did have a dodge token there, so one of those guys, only 1 wound will go on them. So I brought that 1 guy back. And then the second attack is going to go over here. And these guys are not going to cover because just the line of sight, most of these guys are not, yeah. So Solo never needed to use that aim. He went ahead and attacked over here now with his gunslinger and keyword, and he scored a hit and a crit. They did not block either one of them, so they took on their 2 wounds and they'll get suppressed. Next unit to activate was the B1 Squad 3 on 1 guy left in the unit. He disengaged. Now, he had to face a porter token, so he had 2 actions available to him. Both were used to move short to put him base to base with this terrain piece here, ending his activation. So pretty quick round here as we approach the cleanup phase in round 5. On the left flank over here, the Droidekas still are pushing the Rebel troopers back. Our 1B1 snuck away from this Wookiee to get in base-to-base contact there. The middle is still pretty much owned by Chewbacca and Han Solo, though the B1s are trying to put up a fight here. The land speeder is bearing down on them from the right flank. So it's going to come down to a numbers game, I think, and the Rebels have 1, 2, 3 of those secured out there, plus Chewbacca's in base-to-base here. So the Rebels are definitely the upper hand right now. So, going back to round 6, here we go. Let's finish this thing up. So, reckless diversion for the Rebels and standing orders all they have for the Separatists. Orders were given out to our commander, daisy chained over here. These 2, and of course, Han Solo gave 1 to himself, and they were in this Rebels squadron was just in range for to receive the order from him, and we're all set to finish the thing in round 6. Rebels will activate first, Squad 1, and so after the rally step, he can remove this suppression from these guys. They're close enough because Rebel officer. And, yeah, they'll probably do a double move action here, I'm thinking. Oh boy, this is tough. Yeah. And the move action right to there gives up the dodge token. So over the Separatists, the Sith probe droid that's left activated. It did take an attack on Chewbacca. It whiffed, but it is suppressive keyword, which laid a suppressant down on him, and that is its activation. So Squad 3 is going to do a move action just to put them out of line of sight of those Droidekas. So with their move action, they wind up like this, all huddled behind this one thin piece, trying to stay out of line of sight of those Droidekas, and he gives up a dodge token. Droid Squad 4, they're going to make a move here and try to get in base-to-base contact with this up here. Ooh, I forgot, they can't. They have to do an attack if able, and they can attack Chewbacca. They'll do that first. Even with that AI attack, didn't do so bad. They spent all these observation tokens in the rerolls, but they did get a suppression down on them. Even though Chewbacca blocked the hit and the crit, they did manage to land. He blocked both of them, but at least a suppression. And now they can do a move action. And they'll finish up right there in base-to-base contact with that terrain piece. So King Kong activated next. He gave himself an aim token first to get Pierce 1. Launched his attack. He did get a hit. And of course, Pierce 1 would negate them. He killed one of them, and that's how he ends the activation. So droidicas activate next. They just have line of sight. You can just barely see those troopers over there. They take the shot. They got, let's see, I forget. So it was 3 hits. Cover 2 took care of 2 of them, and the rebels whiffed on their 1 defensive dice. They'll take a wound. Oh, they have a dodge token. So that's going to actually negate that whole thing, but they will take 2 suppression. So Squad 2 will activate next. They're going to stay put, give themselves a dodge. Could do a standby. I guess they give themselves a standby just for the heck of it. Ending their activation. Droids activate Squad 1. They go ahead and do a double move action because they had a face-up border token. From here, getting them to base-to-base contact with that terrain piece right over there. So Land Speeder activated next. Compulsory move puts him to there. He fired here at these guys here. So they had cover 2. He only scored 2 wounds, even with the aim reroll. I didn't do so well. 2 wounds on these guys. They're still hanging in there. So B1s will activate the 1 B1 left in Squad 3. He's going to sneak out of there and move up to here in base-to-base contact. So Han Solo activated for the Rebels. He moved right to here, and then he took a shot at these B1s. He's killed 2 of them. He has Pierce 2, and they got no cover, so then he's going to take another shot on that lone guy out there. So Han gets 2 hits out here. He's got Pierce 2, remember what this guy rolls, so he's dead. Separatists, they are going to disengage from this using both of their actions to get in base-to-base contact with this piece of terrain right here. So Chewbacca's our last one to go. He did rally off one of those suppression, and now because he's got 4 wounds on him, he does get charge. So even though he technically is suppressed right now, he doesn't get suppressed when he has Enrage 4. So he is going to charge. So being enraged, he gets charged, means he moves, he gets a free attack action. So he went ahead and attacked. He had 3 hits on that attack, and they did block 1 of them. So 2 wounds on these guys. Now keep in mind, that was a charge action, so the charge and the attack came after that. But he did have to burn, he did burn 2 moves to get over there, so his activation's over. And that's, yeah. So that is the end of round 6. We're going to score this thing. So at the end of the game, each terrain piece with an objective token, the player who has most unit leaders in base contact with that terrain piece gains 1 victory point. And I don't know if that's just trooper leaders or any leaders. So let's score it up and see. We've got over on the Rebel side, we've got 1, we've got 2, 3, and on the Rebel side, we have, I'm sorry, the Rebels, we have 3. Chewbacca's tied over there. He doesn't count. The droids, they have 1. They have 2. And they would have 3 if we count the droidicas, but I don't think the droidicas count for scoring. I could be wrong on this. If the droidicas count, the game is a draw. If they don't count, then Rebels win it 3-2. And thanks for watching, guys. Final thoughts on this. Once again, well, not much to say, really. The Wookiees were kind of doing the heavy lift in the middle of the board. They went in there, they wiped out a bunch of B1s, but not enough to take them out completely. And the droidicas on the left flank did a great job. Droidicas on the right flank were completely destroyed early in the game. Land Speeder did its job. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. See you next time.